Single-sided staking on PulseChain. That is a topic that a lot of people seem to be very, very interested in. So if you go to PulseX, you'll notice there are not a lot of features right now. We got the farms. You're able to trade. You provide liquidity on V1, V2, burn and earn respectively. And as far as LP fees go, but get a pulls. Oh, pulls here. There's been no pulls. And a lot of people have been asking, why is that? Or they've been saying, I want that in one way or another. And I think it's actually interesting where, I'm going to pull this thread up too that kind of kicked off the conversation that, that kind of made me think it'd be fun to talk about. A lot of people, go back and forth. And I think I can make a case either way, honestly, but I don't think that's just, that's from one perspective. I think the case, I think the most interesting way to look at it is, so let's just take both, for example. So the case against single-sided staking is that staked LP and farming actually provides value for the network, right? Like it's providing liquidity to the ecosystem. When you provide LP, you stake it, that bumps up, if we go to the portal here, the liquidity numbers go up, all that stuff. So you're providing liquidity, you're earning ink to do all that. If you do single-sided staking, you're taking a token and locking it up, and then you're earning over time with a certain APR another token. So, where's the disconnect here? It's because one, the other token could be, a few different things. It could be the ink token. It could be third-party tokens. It could be other tokens. It could be part of like a launch pad. And if you stake things, you get to earn all this stuff. Essentially, you're trying to think about the idea is that you can, it gives utility to the actual token. So when PulseX come out, everyone's like, okay, what do I use it for? Like its utility is getting bought and burn with a buy and burn, that sort of thing. Everything else is sort of speculation. And of course, you can use it in the farms. There's different PulseX farms with ink and Pulse and otherwise too. But the ideal, it's like the user perspective is, I want more ways to use the token. I want a reason to hold this or a reason to keep it or a reason, that kind of thing. But if you think about what Richard would be thinking, if I were to speculate what he's thinking of, the founder or anyone is probably thinking, wow, I got to choose between incentivizing LP with the farms and stuff like that, and people earning ink, all the pieces that go with that, versus taking a token, giving the token clear utility and reason to hold it in order to earn these other tokens, which could be ink, or again, it could be on, like for example, on 9inch, you can stake. If you go to the pools over here, they got a lot of different features on this, which is like, I heard Hexy talking about the other day. It was interesting. He's like, you take PulseX and then make it like add all these different features and do all this stuff. And in a way, it is like this, this DEX and liquidity pools, and it's got the meme theme and all that stuff too. But it has a lot of the features that people want or would like to see or otherwise on PulseX. So for here, you can stake 9inch and again earn BBC. You can stake BBC, earn more BBC. You can stake all the different tokens. You can even stake PulseX, like that was a feature that came out a while back. Stake PulseX, earn BBC. So the idea that maybe the founders or the devs or otherwise people are probably thinking of is, do we want to, for example, if single-sided staking was launched, Richard announced, it appears on PulseX as a new feature, single-sided staking. You can stake your PulseX to earn whatever. If that was ink, that could even cannibalize the farms too. And because, you don't have, with single-sided staking stuff, you don't have the impermanent loss. Like it's just, you put in a contract and it pays you the coin for how much and how long you put it in there, type of thing. That's the kind of mechanics. So if it was introduced now, again, what advantage if you want to grow the network of liquidity and people to keep their coins in the farms and stuff, that could cannibalize the farms, less liquidity there. Again, it's like, what do you prioritize? Do you prioritize giving the token value and what the users want to do with it? They want something else to do with it other than sit in the farms. And again, if you have single-sided staking, it could be different APRs and For example, 14%, pretty low compared to the other ones that are, you could make the case more or less risky and all this stuff too. But the ideal, and I guess if you're looking for a reason why to have single side staking, and what Richard's talked about before, I think earlier last year, he addressed this of like, single side staking doesn't provide value. And again, the point there was value. Again, what is value? Like, what value does it provide to the network? Well, it doesn't provide any value as far as liquidity to the network, like liquidity staked LP would with the farms. Maybe it provides value to the users because they can earn other tokens and they can hold it and stuff from that. But that's just like the priority. It's like the different perspectives of looking at it. So I think that's the big disconnect, is like people either think one way or another. They're like, oh, why does it have single side staking? On testnet, there was single side staking. And yeah, of course, on testnet, there was all kinds of things because you're testing things out. Not everything was supposed to be a guaranteed preview of what's going to happen in the future. But, I think it just led people to believe there would be single side staking. And the jury's not out, right? Like, we still could have single side staking. However, if we do get, I'm just going to start saying SSS, because every time I say single side staking, it takes like, I can only say it so many times. 3S, how about that? 3S. If we do get 3S, then do you think it'll be Inc. or it'll be some other token, or it will be like third-party tokens? I think a lot of the ideas floated around before was people can launch. It's like, it could be like this launch pad type of thing where, if you stake your PulseX, you could vote on which tokens to earn from it. And because if it's earning Inc. and people value Inc., that could cannibalize on the people in the farms, because they're like, okay, I can earn, 14% APR in Inc. here, but on the single side staking, I can earn much more with just my PulseX for Inc. That you get away all those types of things too. So I think that's the reason why Richard is not high on single side staking, because again, his whole deal is liquidity. His whole thing is like, the promise of PulseChain is this like huge liquidity and bonding and Hart's law and all this stuff. So why anything that would take away from that or wouldn't help it? Why would you want to go in that direction type of thing? So it makes sense. It's just two different perspectives. The user perspective is, oh, I want to do something with my PulseX. And okay, then you could say, okay, well, you can sit in the farms with it if you have equal side of the other pair, for example, Pulse or Inc. But that's just not as gamified, right? It's not as gamified as single side staking. Oh, what if there's a new project launching and all that? And there's different ways you could look at it of, well, that could be good for onboarding, because maybe people would come and drive people to buy PulseX so they could, as a distribution method, like maybe their coins get distributed from that. Like, that's how you earn their coin. There's a lock supply, and then you only earn it through the inflation or the supply or whatever comes from single side staking it, and they distribute the coins that way. All these different mechanics behind it. But again, that's the reason why. So if you're wondering, okay, single side staking on PulseChain, when are we going to get it? Well, on PulseX, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the reason, other than some people want it. Like, is it a good idea? I think it's debatable whether it's a good idea as far as prioritizing it as number one over something like liquidity. So I would say, okay, if you're going to prioritize liquidity, obviously you would want to keep, all the coins and stuff in the farms and really drive everything towards that. However, if you have other priorities, and those could change in the future, maybe single side staking could be a thing, and the pools just won't look empty, like DJ Crypto Bros pointed out here too. However, there are other dexes, again, that you're not going to earn Inc., for example. I don't know, maybe there is a way to earn Inc. on. You never know, but like the general approach here, at least what we have today, is there is single side staking, but you're in BBC, and then you got to decide, okay, do I want Inc.? Do I want BBC? You have the locked APRs, which are time locked over a period. Flexible APRs, I think you can just pull them out whenever you want. Obviously, much lower. You give up the you give up the APR when you get the flexibility type of thing. But in general, I mean, there's other options for single side staking if you don't want to earn, but you're not going to earn Inc. unless they have a supply of Inc. to give away with them at some point, or implement something else. So PulseX is, I made the tweet the other day, like, do you believe that the PulseChain and PulseX devs have just been twiddling their thumbs for the last year. Yeah, of course they've released like they did the IPFS apps and decentralized deals. They rolled that out. They got the auto routing and stuff. They've made improvements to PulseX just on the fundamentals to get it working, better than it was with launch. And we had V1 versus V2, burn and earn type of thing. That kind of worked out pretty interestingly because now, I'm not going to explain all the differences and stuff there, but plenty of content on that. But the liquidity, PulseX has the most liquidity. Has the farms where you earn ink. It's got where you can stake all the blue chips and do all the stuff there. And then if there's other dexes with other features, and I think 9inch has done a pretty good job. They have DCA features, limit orders. They have all the stuff native to their dex, and have like different BBC pool, like just all this stuff. So I guess I'm saying I don't think PulseX needs single sat staking. I think other community projects can provide that kind of stuff, even with some of their core coins like PulseX or with PulseX, for example, with 9inch. And PulseX can be, hey, we want to prioritize liquidity. Some dexes can prioritize other things, onboarding and one-stop shop type of stuff. Maybe PulseX's biggest bang for buck for the ecosystem is to prioritize liquidity and locking up the most of that and doing prioritizing that type of stuff. So yeah, I think that's the way I come to understand it. It's probably the most, that's why I was never that excited about single sat stake in the first place, because I was like, okay, I don't really, I think the farms were always interesting too, as long as I can earn ink. I thought that was interesting. And I wasn't really interested in earning a lot of the community coins. Yeah, it sounds like a game to play, but not the most fascinating game to me. But a lot of people like it. A lot of people want it. Maybe it'll happen one day. But I just don't think it's being prioritized right now. And that's the way I look at it.